How's it going, everybody? It is Grant. Today I'm going to be covering weeks 1 through 7 as the beginning of my area manager experience. And the style of this video is going to be a pros and cons type of deal. So I have 8 pros, 8 cons. I'm going to go through each one of them and switch back and forth between pros and cons. Before I get into that, I just want to throw out there that I am doing my mock interviewing and my resume and cover letter editing. And that's been going really well so far. It's been super cool to meet people interviewing for all different types of roles literally all over the world. So that's wild. So go ahead and check out the link that's in the description for the video. You can sign up on a form. I'll reach out to you and contact you, and then we'll just kind of go from there, see what you kind of need. Just a disclaimer with that, I have no pull whatsoever with you getting a job with any company. It's purely a professional type of assistance with interviewing skills in general, resume and cover letter skills in general. So yeah, that's that, and we'll go ahead and dive right into the pros and cons. Pro number 1 of working at Amazon and being an area manager in general is the network. I started this YouTube channel about a month and a half ago when I first was moving to Dallas to start my job, and just alone through the digital version of the network, it's been pretty wild. It's been really cool. I've gotten a lot of messages on Instagram. You can see my link for that right here. It's great getting messages from people asking questions, and there have been honestly probably around 150 to 200 people that I've been keeping in touch with throughout their whole process that have actually gotten the job as an area manager or an ops manager. So if that's you, throw that in the comments below and just kind of let people know, like, hey, I've had success with this, and we can all celebrate that, because that's really cool. And then just the network being at the site, there are so many people, and everybody's, there's just a lot of people that you get to kind of meet and interact with and network with at your specific site. So con number 1, the hours are long, and these pros and cons are in no specific order. It's just how I came up with them. So when you're working a shift, I would expect that it could be anywhere between like 10 to 13 and a half hours, depending on what your work schedule is. And that's a long time. It's like a mental game sometimes. But you just have to stay motivated, stay energized, surround yourself with people that feed you that energy and positivity, and you'll be good, right? It's a challenge, but people typically can adapt. So take each one of these pros and cons with a grain of salt. It's my experience personally, and I'm just presenting this to you so you can digest it and use it however you want, right? So the next con. Walking into Amazon every day, it feels good, right? You walk into this really cool, like state-of-the-art type of facility. All this wild stuff is going on everywhere. The processes they make them happen in such a way that makes you just be like, this is super easy, right? But all of the things that go on behind the scenes, the development, the developers, the software programming, like, it's probably wild. So it just like feels really good to walk in there every single day. So con number 2, you don't get to choose your shift up front probably 99% of the time. I know some people did get some sort of, I guess, like say in it. I got 0 say in it. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. It is for me a con. I'm on that, Thursday through Saturday night shift. Would not have been the one that I chose first, but it's just one of those adaptability things. You do it for a little while. And then once you feel like you're at a point where you want to change, you can make that be known and start those discussions when you feel it is appropriate. So pro number 3, this kind of goes off of that con of the not choosing your shift. Pro number 3 is that you have long weekends. So typically with your shift, you'll either have 3 or 4 days off in a row, and that's really nice. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's really nice. I just was able to go spend a nice socially distanced weekend with some of my old friends that I met in Oklahoma City when I used to work there for a little bit. And that was really great to go and do. It kind of is a bummer with COVID that we didn't really get to do a lot like we would usually do, but it was nice just being able to interact with those people and go spend a couple of days up there and not have to take any time off. So con number 3, when you're on an overnight shift, holiday time off can be very confusing, I am realizing, and everybody else feels the exact same way. When you have things like Thanksgiving, sometimes you're given information like, like everybody gets Thanksgiving Day off, but that's literally 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Thursday. And since I work overnight, the assumption is that I would have to come back in at midnight on Thanksgiving, which is a little bit, the frustration, to be honest, is shared between people that are in my shift, that everybody else gets an entire day off for Thanksgiving to go be with their family and do their traditions. But for those of us that are on nights that have to come in at midnight, the assumption being, that's a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. And that's one of those things where you just have to dive in and you do it. You're a team player, and that's part of being a team player. So it's a con for me, but it's not like it shouldn't be a deterrent, right? So let's see. So pro number 4, there's lots of opportunity within Amazon. If you're the type of person that seeks out that opportunity and performs well, so it seems, right? I hear a lot of people that I work with are very motivated to pursue the next step, whether or not that's going from an area manager to an operations manager or a program manager or going into HR, whatever that type of shift is. It seems like a lot of people have that belief fundamentally that they will be able to progress, which is great, because in a lot of different companies, you might not see that type of confidence. So that's a pro for me. So con number 4, maintaining a social life and a dating life. So this one is very much specific to the type of person that you are. I know some people that I work with that love working nights because they get to stay up all night and play video games, and like that's their thing, that's their zen. That's what they love to do. I'm not a gamer. I haven't held a controller in like years. I'm a very socially active person, and I'm a single person, so I have to juggle making brand new friends in Dallas, and then also trying to find people to go on dates with, because that's an aspect of my life I want to have fulfilled. And that can be really difficult when with friends or a significant other, you're not available when they're available. So that's also something that for me, that's a con. But you make the best of it, right? If you're the type of person that needs to be socially active, Sundays, if you're on my type of shift, I sleep for 2 hours. I wake up at 11, and then I just go, and then I try to sleep as much as I can on Thursday. It's probably not good for my body, but for my happiness, it's what's working right now. So number 5 for the pros, the job is very active. You're on your feet pretty much the entire time, unless you are eating or taking a break and going to the room and like sitting down and just like chilling out. This is something that I've heard a lot of people at my site say that they wish that they really knew the extent of prior to accepting the job. That's associates, that's area managers, anybody that's kind of new. So it's not a joke. Like in these ops types of roles, you really are on your feet so much. I've been keeping track of my steps and my mileage to tell everybody here. My steps for the last like 3 weeks have averaged about 25,000, which is between 13 and 15 miles. I'm an active person in general, so I think for me, even if I don't have something specific to do, I try to walk around as much as I can, just because I like that physical activity. It makes me feel good and it makes me feel energized. Con number 5, some area managers go into the role and they don't get associates assigned to them directly, at least up front. For me, I don't relate to that, because I do have like associates assigned to me. But for the ones that don't, the 2 perspectives that I hear on that are, you kind of don't feel as much ownership over the development of the individuals that you would be managing, because when you have associates, you get to kind of help grow and develop those people that stand out to you that say, I want to have a career at Amazon. Can you help me with that? And that's something that looks like it would be really rewarding and awesome to be able to help with. Obviously, I like that kind of stuff since I spend a lot of my free time on here talking to everybody. So pro number 6 is growth potential. So this kind of goes along with like the lots of opportunity type of thing. It looks like there's a lot of growth potential. And I don't necessarily mean growth in terms of getting your next promotion and like making all this money and like stuff like that. I mean growth potential where it's like I'm growing so much in these first 7 weeks that I've been in this role. I came in not working in retail, and I've had to learn so many things about retail and the operations that go on with retail behind the scenes like we do with Amazon. And I've grown tremendously just in those 7 weeks. I think that my team would also probably agree with that too, because they are the reason why I'm growing, to be completely honest. Like all of the other area managers and process assistants that I work with have been so amazing with helping me and so patient with me, because I'm not afraid to admit that I haven't been like the quickest with being able to just understand everything, right? But I make on my OneNote constant notes for every single area that I need to grow in, so that when I go into my one-on-one eventually with my operations manager, I can be totally transparent and say, look, these are the areas I'm struggling with. I know that I am, and I'm trying to overcome that and grow. So growth potential is a good one. And then con number 6, it's a lot to learn at first, and there's always going to be things that you're learning, but you're going to kind of go into this type of role if you don't have experience in retail or just operations in general. And I came from operations, and I still have a ton to learn. But you might get a little bit overwhelmed, but the trick to it is kind of keep notes on the things that you don't know, and don't be afraid to ask your co-manager or your operations manager or process assistants or other area managers or me, to ask them about those things that you don't understand, because it's way more beneficial if you're assigned to do a certain task or asked to do something and you have no clue what it means. It's way better for you and everybody else if you just say, I don't know what the frick I'm supposed to do. Can you please teach me and guide me and show me? And if they're good people and good leaders, they will be more than happy to help develop you. So pro number 7, the work doesn't typically come home with you. That's pretty true to a lot of operations types of jobs most of the time, at this level anyways. The work that you do at work is literally, you're going into work because you have to be there to do your work, right? You're managing people, making sure that the operations are running smoothly, you're coaching, developing, mentoring. That's all things that you can't do them from home, right? So that's really nice that when you come home, 90% of the time, there's nothing that you don't have any obligations to be fulfilling. Con number 7, on the side that you do get associates, sometimes it might feel a little bit overwhelming if you have anywhere from 70 to 150 or something. Right now, I think I have around 100. I just got some more. I don't know if I'm supposed to have all of those people, but anyways, it can be kind of a lot just because there are specific things that you have to do for every single one of them every single night, just in terms of time management and things like that. And that can be overwhelming to adapt to and be introduced to, and that's okay. But it's something to also know that it's okay if you come into this job and you get assigned a lot of associates to be stressed and to feel overwhelmed. Those are really good things to feel when you're starting a job. Stress and overwhelmed in healthy amounts are good because it means that you are learning, right? So don't look at that in the wrong light. So pro number 8, and I kind of touched on this before, people, at least in my experience, are very willing to teach you, right? If you are transparent and vulnerable with them, and you express that you are willing to learn and you want to learn, and you know your areas of improvement, they're going to be very receptive and open to helping teach you and helping guide you. People love that kind of stuff. So make sure you go in with that type of attitude. And then now we're at the end. So con number 8, it appears as though, just from my experience and talking to other people, that your experience working as an area manager is very dependent on the team that you are working with. So that could be your co-manager, your process assistants, any of those, but your associates, it's all very dependent on that. But from a newcomer's perspective, different areas that I go into, you kind of see different levels of morale, and it's all just different leadership style, right? It's sometimes it's just a jackpot lottery, and sometimes you get lucky and you have a really great team, and sometimes you get unlucky and there's a lot more growth potential there that you really need to strategize and figure out ways to grow and develop with. I was lucky in the sense that I came in with some really good co-managers that have really helped me grow. It seems like the associates took a good liking to them, so the morale has been fairly positive, at least in my opinion. I've worked in places where it has not been very good at all, so my perspective could also be jaded. But just know that if you go into a situation where you feel like your work culture is not good, that you are the person that can help make that better. So anyways, those are my pros and cons. That's all I wanted to go over today. That's what I've learned from weeks 1 through 7. If you have any questions, as always, throw them in the comments. You can send me messages on Instagram. If you choose to connect with me on LinkedIn, I do request that you send a message saying that you found me on YouTube, because when I get requests from random people that I don't know, I always ignore them. So let me know that you found me on here. And yeah, I'll be back when I feel like I have more content to cover. So thank you for watching and good luck.